Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to Tuesday live stream. Hi, Rhonda from Houston, Beth from Iowa. We've got Anna from Oregon, Maria from Chicago, Carol from Portugal. Nice, Carol. Amazing. Thank you for tuning in. I know many of you tune in across time zones and watch live or watch later. So thank you so much. I hope you all had a fantastic Memorial Day weekend and a wonderful 3-day weekend. Maybe you weren't working yesterday. I know, Erin, you were doing some sewing. So that's fun. And let me get you on the screen here.
Oh, yes, I was. It was a perfect day here to sew because it was raining all day, and it continues to rain, so it's the perfect weather. So I just holed up in my sewing room yesterday, and it was really nice.
Yeah, I love it. Well, you look great. We're going to hear more about your shirt here in a minute, plus all kinds of fabrics as usual. The first thing I want to do is tell you guys about a brand new event. I know Erin wants to sign up for this event for 2026.
I saw your post yesterday. I was like, oh,
I know.
that looks
Okay, so everyone, if you have Instagram, you should go to this Instagram handle. Betsy, maybe you can post it on the chat. The hotel and resort that we are having our 2026 May retreat is in Italy. So the sewing workshop is going to Italy. In 2026, the resort is called Principe di Salina. It is in Sicily, and it is in an island off of Sicily, about an hour and a half north by boat. So we're going to take a boat and go to Sicily. So post perhaps the Instagram handle if you can, Betsy. They post the most wonderful, luxurious videos. So I reposted one yesterday and had to show you guys off, had to show off what they were featuring in their Instagram. But we are headed to Italy next year in 2026. So all the details are live at sewingworkshop.com. You can read all about it. We will be doing a workshop featuring me, Alex, as your teacher, called Travel Stitching. So we will be spending some time at this wonderful resort, Principe di Salina. We have the whole resort to ourselves, which is just a wonderful, curated, luxurious experience in itself. So to have this whole resort to ourselves will be just a wonderful time. This island is fantastic. You have volcanoes, you have vineyards, you have wine, you have the walkability of this wonderful small island. It is the greenest island as part of the Aeolian Islands. And we'll be spending our mornings doing hand stitching, doing what I call travel stitching. So I'm teaching you how to create and design your own embroidery motifs on either finished garments, on a finished Crane Street tee, or on a travel booklet, a fabric booklet that you'll get in the class. So think of this as the most relaxing sewing retreat you could ever possibly imagine. I mean, I went to this place at Principe di Salina in Salina Island in October of 2024, and I've never experienced anything like this. So my immediate thought when I went here was, how can we do a resort experience sewing workshop here with the sewing workshop? So that was my goal, and it is live. So we are asking you all to save the date because we are launching this next week, Tuesday, June 3rd. So next Tuesday, registrations will go live. We have single occupancy, double occupancy, and then deluxe double occupancy. You can see all the details at sewingworkshop.com. You can see our itinerary. You can read a little bit about Salina Island. You can read a little bit about Sicily. You can read the details of kind of the price, mobility, all the kinds of notes that we're giving you to consider for this trip. So check it out at sewingworkshop.com. And again, save the date because next week we are launching this as a live event. So you can also bring a non-participating partner, perhaps a friend, perhaps a husband, perhaps a partner, and spend some time with us in May of next year in Sicily. Awesome.
Okay, so do you have me on the list, Alex?
Yep, Erin's on. Anyone else?
Okay.
I know.
Number one. Okay.
For sure, for sure. Well, Erin, you're wearing a wonderful Elle shirt. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Elle pants. So today is all about the Elle pattern, which is a pattern we came out with last year as a reintroduced vault pattern. So it was a So Confident project last fall, and we featured the Elle pants. And the Elle shirt actually is part of the pattern. So when you get the Elle pattern, you actually get really 3 patterns in one. So it's a lot to talk about with one pattern. So we're going to kind of highlight a lot of things to do with pants, show you some pants fabrics and pants considerations, and then we're going to talk about what you're wearing, Erin. But do you want to just give us a sneak peek, because it's just so cool?
Sure. So last week we did a photo shoot with the Elle to prepare for the live, and I put on the shirt and I just thought it was fantastic, perfect for spring. Has long sleeves and a nice simple collar that has a great angle to it. So I just thought it was just the perfect spring top. And so I decided to make one out of the lovely plaids and checks that we have that just always just scream at me to make something with them. And I hadn't yet. So this was what I spent my weekend doing. Was
Oh, I
making
didn't
this
know. I
top.
didn't notice the back's different. Oh, how fun!
Yes.
You really
So
have
we have
3 different fabrics.
right. So check here and a plaid here, and then a solid linen in the back. And I
Fab.
did make short sleeves. So, because it's going to start to get hot here after the rain's over.
Fabulous. We have been seeing the sort of blend of plaids on ready to wear shirts. I know we've been posting it in our Slack channel with staff, so seeing like one fabric on one side, another fabric on the other, and how those can come seamlessly together is quite cool. So I love it.
Thank you. I'm gonna fix it. There we go.
Well, let's talk about the pants first. And Erin, you're welcome to insert yourself here into this presentation, because I know some of these pictures also feature you. The middle one was from this photo shoot we had last week. And you are wearing the Elle pants here, and you are wearing also the Elle shirt. So you can wear, of course, these two things together. I am wearing my Elle pants on the far right in this fabric that we're going to be talking a little bit more about today. I loved this fabric when it came in, probably, sometime last year. I saw it at a So Kansas event, and it's a double-sided fabric. And I immediately thought of the Elle pants because I could feature this contrasting pocket yoke and the other side of the fabric, this stripe, kind of like a railroad stripe, for the other side of the fabric for the rest of the pant. And the Elle pant is just this fantastic straight leg pant. It is elastic waist. It is a 1/4 inch wide elastic. It has 3 casings. It is optional. If you don't want to have 3 casings of elastic, you could use 2, you could use 1. But Erin, what is the fabric in the middle here?
That is a silk crepe. So the top, which is actually the Mix It tank, and then the Elle pants, those are the same fabric. And then it shows that you can wear the Elle shirt on top as a jacket. So I think this pattern is really versatile. So you can make it like this and wear it like this as a silk top or jacket, and wear it open as a jacket, or you could button it up and wear it as a shirt.
And with Erin and I on either side, we're making it more casual with just knit tops. So Erin is wearing, I think that is the Anne's tank on the far left. And I am wearing the Keyhole ET, which is a $5 tutorial of taking the ET and actually turning it into a t-shirt with this keyhole feature. So you can dress it up, dress it down. And as you can see, we have the chambray. We have these other beautiful fabrics in the middle and on the left, so you can make it in so many different fabrics. So again, this is a semi-fitted straight leg pant. You can think of it kind of like the Chesneys. It has this wonderful elastic waist feature, but I think the highlight of this pant really is the pocket detail. So you can see Erin with her chambray, she's kind of putting her hand in the pocket. But again, I noted that you can make this contrasting pocket detail that just elevates the look even more. So just taking some inspiration from Free People, from American Eagle, seeing a lot of this sort of striped, railroad stripe, ticking type fabrics that were coming out in ready to wear garments, not being afraid of taking stripes and making them into more neutral pants. And here again are some fabrics and other considerations for pants and the Elle pattern as a whole. So Erin, on the far left, you're wearing the Elle shirt and the Elle pants, and these are slightly cropped. And I love this outfit, of course, because the embroideries at the bottom of this pant kind of coincide with the Elle shirt.
Right, so the Elle shirt, actually in the pattern, we have an additional option of view B where you can make it as a vest or like a sleeveless top. And so that's what this one is showing here is the sleeveless top version of the Elle shirt and then the cropped Elle pants with that sweet little embroidery across the bottom to coordinate with the silk, the fruits on the silk top. So the story goes is that was made to match. So that was, that embroidery design was created to coordinate with that top, which I think is really fun. And then on the right, we have another fantastic display of embroidery that was also created just for that top. That's a check linen Elle shirt with some great embroidery in white, and then the Chesney pants on the bottom in a floral.
So this kind of coincides with some of the pant trends that we're seeing for spring and going into summer of 2025. We talked about this a few months ago with the live stream. We talked about upcoming pant trends, and I kept going back to this look when it comes to the Elle pants, as you can consider the Elle pants as a minimal cargo with these details that are very sleek and refined. So with the wonderful straight leg feature that the Elle pant is, it really is removing itself of all bulk, but with this utilitarian minimalistic edge, this classic style kind of elevates itself and goes to the next level with this yoke and diagonal pocket. So when we're thinking of this trend, this minimal cargo effect for trends in pants, we're thinking the clean lines of things. We're thinking perhaps neutral palettes. We're thinking things we're going to wear every day, but we're also just thinking of ways that refined pants can just be slightly elevated. So these are Elle pants that you can kind of note. Of course, this is a whole look, sort of the minimal utilitarian effect from head to toe. But there are some pockets on this pant that are cargo pockets that are just sort of taking this pant from a simple straight leg pant to a pant with pockets. So we have some row pants. We have pants from Old Navy. Again, just kind of tying in these simplistic minimal trends, but taking them to the next level, which just captures the allure of the Elle pants, I think. We tell you to So before the video just starts, we tell you. So we have a video coming up here of the Elle Pants online workshop, which is the video of the step-by-step process of how to make the Elle pants. So this is an online workshop that is for sale this week. And so you can actually work through the Elle pants, not only with the instructions, but with this online workshop. So in this part of the video, you're going to see me actually prepare my pocket. So the construction of the Elle pants is, of course, quite interesting because you have the fronts that are then attaching to this yoke, and then you have to create this pocket opening. So you're going to see me work with the right fronts where I'm placing my front over the front yoke and pocket. So if you have the Elle pants instructions, consider this is step 32 through 34. So I am placing my pocket along this top stitching line, and then I'm preparing to edge stitch my pocket. So let's take a look at the Elle Pants online workshop where I am working to prepare my pocket. We tell you to baste this afterwards, after it's all pinned, but Fusee Web is kind of like our basting. So I'm just going to put Fusee Web right up until that first pocket opening. And then I'm going to leave that pocket opening. I'm going to leave the paper on. Now, if you wanted to, you could fusee web this part instead of the yoke piece. So this is your front piece. You could place fusee web here, leave the pocket opening, and place fusee web here. But here I am doing it on the yoke piece. I'm also on the yoke piece going to put paper on the edges of what will be the pocket. This will just help to make sure when I put my front over this yoke that when the fusee web's there, I pull the paper away, that's gonna stay and be glued nicely, acting like a basting stitch. So again, I'm just gonna put fusee web Did you guys know that if you needed to remove fusee web from your garments, from your fabric, you use wax paper? So grab some wax paper. If you've put fusee web in the wrong place, it'll do the trick and get rid of all your fusee web woes. Now curves on fusee web are harder, but all you do is you just need smaller pieces. So I'm leaving the paper again on this fusee web for now, but this will help me when I'm placing my front. So I've got my front piece here, and this is where I'm matching all of my markings. So I've got my pocket opening tailor's tacks here. I've also got my seam, which is this marking here. So all is looking nice to be able to align. And that's my top stitching that I did for my pocket opening. Now in order to create this top stitching for the pocket, to actually create your functioning pocket, you're going to want to make sure that you kind of with your hands feel where the end of your pocket yoke piece is. Now this will vary depending on your size, but of course you need the end of your pocket to be where your pocket opening is. So it's going to be a straight line down, and I can kind of feel to the right of my chalkener line and to the right of my ruler that I've got about 1/2 inch left. So I know that this line is going to catch the pocket. I also can feel the bottom of my pocket. I've got another 1/4 inch to be able to note the bottom of my pocket. These tailor tacks lines were from my first marking where I marked the total bottom of my pocket, but you'll want to just use your fingers to feel based on your size where your top stitching lines are going to go. Again, on this other pocket opening line, I can feel that I've got some room on this side, but I want to make sure that I catch my pocket on my corners and my top openings. And then I'm creating this chalkener line from the end of my top stitching creating the bottom, and creating my final corner here. So I'm following this line for my top stitching, and my first layer that I'm actually going to start sewing, I'm going to edge stitch my front yoke to my front pocket. So this first line is where I'm going to actually start to pivot. So I'm going to use my presser foot and get a really nice close stitch at the top of that pocket. I'm going to turn and pivot down, going along my chalkener line to the corner of my pocket, turn and pivot over, and turn and pivot up, all the way up to the top of this front yoke and pocket. But before I do that, I want to make sure I take off my fusee web. All right, so you guys have kind of the sneak peek of what it looks like to actually attach your fronts to make that pocket opening. So this fabric is the cotton that I used, and it came in a different colorway. So we have on sale this week this cotton double cloth. I'm sorry, this is that the word at the bottom of this presentation is a little bit incorrect. It's cotton double cloth. This is the sky blue and blue white ticking. Mine is the other colorway. So I think with my colorway, we only have an end cut. So this is cotton double cloth. It's 100% cotton. It is 44 inches wide. And this is what I use. And you can see that with that yoke piece, again, to create a contrasting pocket opening, I just use the reverse side of this cotton double cloth and use the reverse side for the rest of my pant. And I tell you what, these are just the most comfortable summer pants, summer spring pants. I get tons of compliments on them, and this fabric really was wonderful to work with. So this is kind of one of our featured fabrics for the Elle Pants. And then the next featured fabric is the chambray that you see Erin wearing. We don't have the colorway she's wearing, but we have other versions of this fabric. We have it in a sky blue and an army green. So those are our featured Elle Pants fabrics. Let me see if we have any general questions about the pants here. But again, I thought, even especially in the video, it's just fun to see how the pocket actually comes together, how you're working with the yoke piece and then attaching it to the fronts. And so that is what to expect with an online workshop. And so from there, we're working through the rest of the pant. So let's take it over to Erin, who's going to show us, again, more of her shirt, more Elle shirts, and then talk about fabrics.
Okay. So I thought since we did just talk about the pants fabric, I can show that to you, and then we can move on to the Elle shirt. So this is the chambray that Alex mentioned in the cotton and lyocell. This is the sky blue here, and this is the army green here, which I love this army green color. I think it's really neutral. I like to create neutrals out of colors. That way you have a lot of wear out of them in your wardrobe. And I think the green is a really nice neutral to do that with. Nice and lightweight. And then here is the double cloth in this lighter color, which I think is great for spring, and then the darker stripes on the other side. So you could do it where you have the stripes as your main fabric, or you could switch it and you could have the solid as your main fabric, and then the stripe just kind of peeks out at the top. I think that would be really fun too. So I think with double-sided fabrics, you have a lot of options on how you can kind of mix and match them. So with the shirt, the making the Elle shirt was really fun, and I noticed that there are quite a few really interesting techniques within this pattern. Let me bring out one of the shirts so you can really see what's going on with the Elle shirt. So the Elle shirt in the pattern has a longer sleeve, a tapered longer sleeve, an angled collar. It has this one doesn't happen to have, but it does have the option for a button here on the collar, and then it has 4 buttons down the front. The pattern, it has a horizontal buttonhole, but of course you can reverse it and do a vertical buttonhole. And then on the side, which I think is one of my favorite things, is a really deep vent. I think a vent is a really nice detail on a shirt. Just kind of opens it up a little bit, adds a little bit of ease, or just kind of ease with wear, which I think is really nice. The back is really simple with a great back facing to finish it off. And then the Elle shirt turns into the sleeveless top, which I think is nice. There is actually 2 separate pattern pieces, one for the view B, which is the sleeveless, and the view A. The view B is straight up from the side seam up to the top of the armhole or at the shoulder seam, and then it is finished with a facing. Otherwise, the pattern is the same with the same great angled collar, button down the front, side vents, and the great simple back with the facing. So very similar, but it's just a nice option to wear for the summer. Or if you wanted to maybe deepen the armhole, you could wear it with a short sleeve shirt or a long sleeve shirt underneath it to make it work for winter. So I think that's a really fun option. So since we're talking about fruit, let's bring out the Elle pants that coordinate with this beautiful fruit here on this silk top. So here are the Elle pants with the sweet little patches here. Isn't that neat? This embroidery on the bottom is just really fun with the matching fruit on the bottom. Like I said, the story is that Linda would go to Hutchison with some great customers, some great friends there, and they would digitize anything and everything. They were very talented. And so she wanted fruit digitized and embroidered to coordinate with this silk top. So that's what they did. So to make a sweet little summer combination, we have the silk fruit and then the silk or the embroidery at the bottom to match. This was another embroidered piece, similar story, and then you can wear it with the Chesney pants in this silk print. Another version you saw in the slideshow was this silk crepe. This is the mix-it top with it and the matching silk crepe pants in this really light violet. I think this is so beautiful, drapes wonderfully on the body, and it's always nice and sophisticated to have a coordinating or matching top and bottom. And then it was paired with this silk stripe Elle straight from the pattern with the long sleeves. And I love the buttons on this one. Some really beautiful, sophisticated buttons. Another really pretty combination is take a handkerchief linen in this light blush pink and make the Elle shirt. Very lightweight. Just a beautiful, simple option. And then you can coordinate it with the pants in this violet color. So you have similar shades. I think that's really sophisticated for spring as well. So the one I made over the weekend, I thought it would be really fun to mix and match some of the great plaids and checks that we have. So the larger plaid on one side, the check on the other, and then using the same, plaid and check on the sleeves, and then the check on the collar. I decided not to put a button on the collar because I wanted it to fold back. And then I used a handkerchief linen on the back. And I did decide to shorten the sleeves. I believe it's only I think it was a 6-inch sleeve. I just wanted a short sleeve, and I knew that it dropped off the shoulder just a little bit, just to make a nice ease of wear garment. So I didn't need too much length on the sleeve. So I just did a 6-inch sleeve, just at the, I didn't even use the length and shortening lines. I just chopped it off. So easy peasy. So if we had any other questions, and then otherwise I can move on to the fabrics that I chose. I thought the fabrics that we had here was pretty amazing, like all the different plaids and checks and solids that all coordinated together. So I can't wait to show you what I chose for that. But if we had any questions before, I can take those.
I don't see any questions, and you just answered mine. I wondered what considerations you had for your sleeve length, but you did just answer it. But you probably measured or figured what length you wanted and just cut it from there.
Yeah, I was wearing this one, like I said, for the photo shoot. I was wearing a lot of different Elle tops, the short sleeve tops and the long sleeve tops, and I thought it would be a great option to do a short sleeve. So I had this on, and so I could kind of tell where I wanted that short sleeve to be. And so I did it based on where I wanted it, based on the long sleeve.
What do you think any fit considerations are for the Elle shirt?
I noticed with the Elle shirt that it's slightly pegged. So there was a little more room in the bust, and then it narrowed very slightly down to the hips. But it still had considerable ease at the hips. So it's not exactly boxy, but it does give that allure. I think that it's really flattering. I think because of the slight peg, it really slims down. I think it slims down the figure just a little bit towards the hip. So I think that that's nice. But I would measure that hip measurement and make sure you're satisfied with the ease at the hip and the bust like we would traditionally do. And just to make sure that it has the ease, because I know sometimes we might not expect to have to measure the hips, but since it's slightly pegged, we want to make sure that you have enough ease there.
And what size are you wearing, Erin?
This is a medium.
Okay. All right. I don't see any other questions.
Okay. And actually, I got a little ahead of myself because I was so excited about all these fabrics that I forgot to mention some of the little things that I noticed while I was making the garment. So if we could kind of backtrack a bit, and I can talk about that, and then I can get to the fabrics. Um, so a couple of things I noticed when I was making the garment is some of the great the learning things that we have within the pattern that I thought were really nice, and I thought I would point them out. So one of the things that we do here at the sewing workshop is we love our templates. And so with these deeper hems, it's a finished 1 3/8 inch hem. And so with these hems, it was really nice to use a template when I was pressing these hems up. And so within the pattern, we have you you press it up 2 inches to start. And so you start with a 2-inch template here, which is just a manila file folder that you cut to size. So this one is 2 inches. And so you press up the bottom hem and the sleeve hem 2 inches. And then the second step is you need to make a finished 1 3/8 inch hem, you need to press up that bottom raw edge just 5/8 of an inch. So if you have just your one template, you can mark it at 5/8 of an inch and fold up that final step 5/8 of an inch. But one thing I noticed when I was making it is that the linen tended to wiggle just a little bit for me. So I decided instead of doing it in this traditional way, like we say in the pattern, I did change it up a little bit. So I pressed up my bottom hems 2 inches, and then I made a second template that was 1 3/8 of an inch, and that's the final hem. So instead of pressing, I still pressed up the 5/8 of an inch, but I did it in a different way. So I put the template in that fold and then pressed up that bottom raw edge 5/8 of an inch to get the 1 3/8. For me, that was a little bit easier because otherwise the fabric was wiggling a little bit too much for me, especially the handkerchief linen in the back. Another way that we like to do our templates also is to use a hot ruler, which is really nice because it has all the measurements already laid out for you, and you can use it on a multiple of, hems, so you don't have maybe, 10, 15 different templates laying around, which I tend to do. I tend to have both. But this is a nice tool. That way, you always have the right measurement handy instead of searching around just in case you can't find all your templates. This is a really great thing to have on hand. And the other thing that when I was making it is this has horizontal buttonholes, which I don't know why that threw me off, but it really did. And so when I was making these buttonholes, I noticed a few different tips and things that I really needed when I was doing it. And one of the things at the end that I needed was a buttonhole cutter. So we have a couple different buttonhole cutters. We have the set, which is really nice because it has the block of wood here. And then we got these in recently, which these are Japanese buttonhole cutters. So it's a really high grade buttonhole cutter. I thought these were really nice. I like the heavier weight to it. I know as this is the one that I had at home, and I liked the size of it. I noticed that I like sewing tools that are a little bigger. They have a stronger handle, a bigger handle. I like that. I thought it was a little bit easier on my larger buttonhole. And then what else did I use? Oh, so the Elle pattern also has a lot of great miters. And I know you guys know that we love miters around here. And this one had miters, these two miters at the side seam. So it had a total of 4 miters. So I did have to make 4 miters. And I find that I really like to make miters. And I always go back to, no matter how many miters I make, I always go back to our miter book and double check that I'm doing it correctly. And then I dive in and I do all of them at once, just one after the other, pretty quickly. But once I review that miter book, I know I'm set. So that's what I did. I reviewed the miter book, and then I knew I had the confidence to go through them pretty quickly. So those are the basic things that I learned or that I noticed when I was making the pattern, and I think it was kind of a fun garment.
Yeah, we love the miter book, and we also have a miter workshop that's a kind of a virtual lesson on miters too, and that is something that is on sale this weekend in the category. So I think it's just a core part of the sewing workshop is learning miters and really mastering those miters, which is what the book is called.
Mastering miters. There you go. All right. Any other questions?
What interfacing did you use on the collar?
I used we've gotten in a few new interfacings lately, and we're trying them out. So I did use a little heavier interfacing than I'm used to using throughout the whole garment. I think I would have stepped it down just a notch if I were to do it again. I think it tended to be a little heavy, but the great thing about it is this, the collar, it stands up really nicely. I mean, I think it has a good look. I like a sharp collar. So I'm trying to think. I'd have to maybe post later exactly what it was, but it was one of the new interfacings that we're trying out.
And there is interfacing in the pants that you will need to just make sure that that pocket opening is nice and stabilized. So you do need stabilizer or interfacing for both the Elle shirt and the pants.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the shirt has it on the collar, the back facing, and the front facing.
We have an unrelated question to the Elle, but Erin, when you were making your other favorite pant pattern, the trio pants, we love the trio pants right now. We came back out with them this year. Do you serge right over the zipper to cut off the zipper? When you make the trio pants, you can make it in a zipper version or with a buttonhole closure.
I think it depends on what zipper you're using. So if you have metal teeth on your zipper, you can cut them out, and then you won't have to worry about them, when you're serging your seams together. So, and you can do that on any zipper. If you don't want to serge over the zipper teeth, you don't have to cut it out. And I think that that's just fine. But if it's not a metal zipper, you should be okay. But it's pretty easy to leave the tape intact and cut out the zipper teeth.
All right. Fabrics.
Fabrics. Okay, now I can get to these fabrics. My inspiration for this top was I was just wanting to mix up all these plaids and all these checks. And I realized as I was really diving into it how many options we really had. The first option that I was really drawn to, of course, is the one that I made. And so it started out, I've been wanting to make something with this check. So this is candy pink and white gingham. It is a linen. It's a nice medium weight. It's just a really great weight. It feels really good. I did wash all these fabrics. I pre-washed everything. And this is just fantastic. So I've been wanting to make something out of it. So I decided to mix everything together. So this is the handkerchief weight linen in peppermint. This is the peppermint. And I thought that was just a nice solid to calm everything down just a little bit. When you're mixing prints, I think it's good to find kind of that base that might like tie it all together. And then I, of course, wanted to mix in some of our favorite larger plaids. I hadn't made anything in this plaid yet, and I really have been wanting to. So this is the Rouge plaid, another nice medium weight linen, and it was just a wonderful sew. And so I thought this is just a really fun combination. And the other one, I was really torn between actually all of these. And my go-to is blue. I love blue. But in the end, I wanted to think outside the box a little bit. And so that's why I went with the pink. But this was my other option. So I could use this wonderful check. So I thought this was a really fun blue and white check. And then you pair it with this smaller plaid that has the blue and the white, but it also ties in this larger plaid here with all the different shades of brown. So I thought this would be just a fantastic trio of fabrics. I would do the check, of course, on the front. Again, mix it with the larger plaid because I think it has a nice balance of size. I think the scale is really nice together. So I would put those two on the front and then put this one on the back. I think that would be great. And then the third combination, I think it's completely different from the other two, which I think makes it really fun. I've been eyeing this check for a long time. I love this kind of checkerboard look. We've been seeing it a lot in the last couple of years. And this has green and black and white and red and yellow, blue. It's just a really fun it's actually a border print. Can you see that? I might pull this one out. So you can really see the colors, and that's pretty narrow border on one side.
Yeah, those really would be great pants.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Would you put the border at the bottom?
I would just put the border at the bottom. It kind of reminds me
Yep.
of the embroidered L's, that bottom detail that
Mm-hmm.
ties into the top. So you have those as the Elle pant with the border at the bottom, and then make a nice Elle shirt that just coordinates really well with the pants.
Or you have the pants and there's part of the top in
Or,
this
oh, well, there
fabric.
you go. Mhm.
So this one's really fun if you just mix it with a really simple white linen, medium weight linen, and then this white and green linen. I think that's really nice. It just gives it a punch with the white linen. I think I would put the white in the back and then focus on the prints on the front. Or if you wanted it a little more subtle, you could mix in these two on the front. And maybe like Alex said, maybe you just work with these two on the top and you save that for the pants. I think you have a lot of options. So those are the combinations. As far as yardages, I cut off a yard of each. It just gave me so many possibilities because I hadn't quite decided which fabric do I want for the sleeves, which fabric do I want for the collar. So it just gave me options. It gave me options on what I wanted to do and if I wanted to add anything to it. So I just got a yard of each one, and then I had some flexibility.
Well, when you think about it, I love the Elle pattern because you have automatically a full ensemble. You have the shirt with the pants and another
Mm-hmm.
version of the shirt. And then you have here, we're showing you fabrics to go with a complete set, which is sometimes hard to do in sewing. You think, I'm definitely going to make a shirt out of this fabric, but then we struggle with the pant fabric, or vice versa. I have a really great pant pattern or a really great pant fabric, but how do I tie it all together? So really, you have the Elle pattern and you have 2 or 3 different fabrics, or even one, making a
Mm-hmm.
complete set, and it makes it pretty easy.
Right. I mean, if you wanted to do the Elle pants, like, what do you think, Alex? What should if I were to make a coordinating Elle pants to go with the shirt, what would you do?
Oh, goodness. Well, put in the chat, everyone, what you think, but I like the smaller gingham, the candy gingham, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yep.
this I love the scale of the bolder, bigger check, but I think to kind of have a great summer pants, that gingham I think would go with a lot. It would kind of work as a fun neutral. So you could wear that in a lot of different ways. I think do that.
Well, I can see it as a shorts, Elle shorts.
Yeah.
It was one So Kansas that Brianna made a pair
Yep.
of Elle
That's
shorts.
great. Mhm.
And I think that would be cute. Maybe you add a little cuff at the bottom. I think that
Mhm.
would be fun too. But I think, and it would be a nice weight. The check would be a nice weight for pants,
Mhm.
for shorts too.
Um, is the rouge plaid smaller checks than the other plaid?
Yes, yes. So this is smaller scale than this plaid up here. Yeah, these are maybe 3.5 to 4 inches here. And these are more like 2
Yeah.
at my rough, very exact measurement.
How heavy would you say is the white linen?
The white is a medium weight linen.
Okay.
So it'd be nice for pants as well.
Mhm.
I think that would be really nice to do a pair of pants out of the white.
It is after Memorial Day, everyone, so white pants. But
For the two people who don't follow that rule.
um,
Love a pair of white, winter white.
it's true, it's true. For your yard each of the 3 different fabrics, would you say that would be enough for long sleeves? Did you have much extra if you wanted to do the long sleeve version?
Yeah, I think you would have enough because I did have some extra, and so especially when you're making the like one sleeve is out of one fabric and the other sleeve, because I did have extra to work with where I could have had a long sleeve out of each one of these. Hmm.
Wonderful. Well, let me show this again, and I will go to the sale category. So just as another shout out, we are launching this event live for sale next week on Tuesday, June 3rd. And so it will be live when the live stream starts, which is at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. So when I will do a presentation with I'll talk through more details about this event and show pictures similar to what I did at the beginning of today. And so you are able to purchase and register for the Sewing Workshop in Sicily event, which is May 3rd through 8th. That is a Sunday through Friday, 2026. And so you can check out all of the details, more details than what I described today on the website. And then I will also go through it in more detail next week during the live stream. Oh, I see someone said, Erin, they like a small check and then pants have for the large plaid for the pocket. Oh, that's an interesting idea. You could do like a contrasting pocket.
I like that. I like that.
Switch
That's a
up
good
the,
idea.
all right. Let me get my screen to the right presentation. Okay, perfect. So here is the sale this week. So you can go to sewingworkshop.com and click on sale. So it is all about the Elle pattern this week. So you can snag the Elle PDF pattern. It is only in digital format unless you're one of the OG Elle pattern people from back in the day. Before it was reintroduced. So we do have it in digital format. We can print it for you here in-house. You can select that when you purchase the pattern. This pattern does not come in extended sizes, so it is just extra small through XXL. So with our older vault patterns, we don't have it in extended sizes unless otherwise noted. So this is the original vault pattern. Again, we also have the online workshop for sale. So this is the full video format of walking you through how to make the Elle pants. The Mastering Miters book, we have it as a digital booklet. So when you purchase this, you actually just get digital access instantly to the Mastering Miters book. The Mastering Miters online workshop, you save 15% this week. So this is a Zoom recording that we did, and we walked through a lot of the techniques of miters in video format. So again, just a really great resource to actually visually see how to make and maneuver miters. Erin mentioned some great tools this week. So our different buttonhole cutter sets, the bamboo point turner, you're going to need those for your miters. And then the sleeper tool that we've come back to along with our templates is this hot ruler. So what's obviously wonderful about this that Erin mentioned is that it has all of the measurements already listed on the ruler. And so it makes hemming and pressing up without using templates in our traditional format a little bit easier. The keyhole ET tutorial, this is only $5. So if you want to take our basic ET pattern and create a really interesting variation, thanks to Samantha, we created this tutorial from her design in the keyhole variation. So you can grab that tutorial. And then we have some of the different fabrics for the Elle pants. We do have the blue chambray that was available as a kit. So it comes with elastic, it comes with thread, it comes with everything you need to make the Elle pants. So that colorway that Erin was wearing in the presentation is available. We also have the army green, the sky blue, the wonderful cotton double cloths, and the one that I used in my version, looks like we just have, oh no, I'm so sorry, it is out of stock now. Sorry about that. Then we have the great linens you can consider for Elle shirts, combinations to combine with your Elle pants or other pants, all of the linens Erin mentioned. All right. Let's see if there is anything else.
Yes, it looks like Liz had a question on the buttonhole set. They are priced correctly. They're just different manufacturers. So we do have the cutter set, which has the block of wood, and then it also has the circular punch for holes, and then also the buttonhole cutter. But it is just a different manufacturer than the other one. Like I said, the weight is different. The materials are different. So this one's just a little more heavy duty tool than what's included in the set. But the set's great too because it comes with that block of wood. So I think you can determine maybe what you need within your sewing tools.
I just put together that I'm wearing the Sicily top, which is, and I didn't really think about that I was talking about Sicily today. So that is what I'm wearing.
The coordination is
I
fantastic.
know. So, oh, I did miss this question earlier. Sorry. Erin, did you adjust the shoulders or the back for your Elle?
I didn't actually, which is typically I do. Typically, I do need to do a round back, and I didn't do that on this one. So.
All right. All right, everyone. Well, next week we have a So Kansas event. So we will, I'll be in the studio next week, and Samantha will be in the studio next week. And so, of course, we'll have a great live stream for you next week also. And then shout out Sicily will go on sale next Tuesday. So we'll see you next week. Have fun shopping and sewing your Elle pattern this week. And we'll see you next week.
Next week. All right. Thank you.